Welcome to the brand new series on authentication and authorization with access and refresh token. In this complete tutorial, we'll be building production-grade login and logout system using modern tools and tech stacks. We'll also be building protected pages where only logged-in users will be allowed. We'll also be implementing role-based access control for some pages like dashboard where only admins will be allowed. So let's quickly register as a user first and then log in. And as you can see, now we can access this protected page. And in the response of login API, we'll get access and refresh token and also role of the user. And if a user try to access dashboard, he or she cannot access this page because only admins will be allowed to access this page. So let's register as admin first of all. And let's log in. And if you go now, you can access this page. And when logging out, the user will be redirected to the login page. And talking about tech stack, we'll be using Fit for setting our React app. We have Chakra UI for our UI. We have React Router for routing. We have React Hook Form for form handling and validation. We have React Query and Actions for data fetching. And we have Justin for step management. And if you get stuck or if you have any queries, you can directly comment in the comment section and I'll get you back. And I'll see you in the next chapter where we'll start setting our project. Welcome back to the new chapter. And in this chapter, we'll be setting our React app. And before setting our React app, the first thing you'll have to have in your system is this Node.js. So go to this node.js.org and install this latest LTS version because this is a long-term support version. And click here. And you'd have a different version for your different operating system like Windows, Linux, and Mac. So you can install it from here. And after installation of Node.js, let's create an empty directory or folder. And after that, let's open up the code editor. In my case, it is Visual Studio Code. You can either download it or use any that you want and then open that folder. And now let's open up the terminal from here. You can also use the shortcut. And let's first of all clear it. And let's copy the command for React from Vip, that is npm create fit @latest and this dot because I want to have the same directory and not another. So let's choose now React since we are creating React. And let's go with this JavaScript plus SWC since this is more faster. And let's now install our dependency. For that, we have npm install. And after that, what we have to do is npm run dev to start our development server. So our server is live and we can either, copy the URL in the browser or just control click from here to open up in the browser. And there we go. We have completed our setup. But what we have to do now is we have to optimize our setup a little bit. So let's go back to the code. And from here in src, we can remove this app.css because we are not using raw CSS here. We'll be using Chakra UI. Also remove this index.css, not like this. And in main.jsx, remove this index.css. And from app.jsx, we need to remove a lot of things. Remove, first of all the imports. And after that, remove this line. And then let's remove all this boilerplate code. And let's add a simple text. Let's say JWT as of now. And let's check the browser. And let's refresh. And there you go. We have set up our React app and we have also removed unnecessary files. And I'll see you in the next chapter. Welcome back to the new chapter. And in this chapter, we'll be setting our Git. And Git is actually a version control system. So it's basically for, helping to track our files more efficiently. All right. And for that, all you have to do is go to the, Git website. And then from here in downloads, all you have to do is just go here and then install Git in your system. And after that, all you have to do is open up a new terminal. And let me tell you guys, Git is really easy to understand because there are very less code that you actually have to use. And you'll get to know, when you follow this tutorial. All right. And I'll make sure of that. Let's now configure our Git For that, all you have to do is git config dash global user.name and then give username. And after that, git config and again global, now user.email, and now give your email. And now let's initialize our git with command git init. And now let's change the branch to name, the branch -m name. And now let's add all of our changes to the staging area. Git add dot, and this dot will just add all the changes at once. And let's now commit our changes with some messages. Git commit -m and then obnoxious code and then your message. And let's now go to the github.com, and if you have not created your account, you can create one for free. And after that, you have to go to this new repository, and you have to create a new repository. Okay, this is going to be a remote repository, and you can give it any name, and you can either make it private or public, and then create repository. And now remote repository has been created. Let's now copy the URL, and in your terminal, let's connect your remote to the local. For that, we have git remote add origin, and then the link we just copied from the remote repository. And now our remote repository has been connected to our local repository. Let's now push our code to the remote repository. For that, we have code git push -u origin and then the branch name, that is main. And that is it. Let's go back to GitHub and refresh the page. And there we go. We have finally pushed all of our code from local to the remote repository. And I'll see you in the next chapter where we'll be setting our Chakra UI. Welcome back to the new chapter. And this chapter will be integrating Chakra UI in our application, right? And Chakra UI is a modern React UI library that uses style props. That means we can just pass prop for styling like in React, all right? So it's very easy to learn, and you'll get to know that along the way. And to install Chakra UI, you just need to install this dependency. I'll be providing the URL for this page in the description of this video so that you can just copy and paste it in your terminal, all right? Or you can also type it manually, and that is it. So hit enter, and that's it. And after installation of these dependencies, all you have to do now is set up this provider. And it's really easy. All you have to do is just go to your main.jsx, all right? And then copy this command, 2 lines of code. So in main.jsx, you just need to import this Chakra provider, and then all you need to do is wrap your application with this Chakra provider. And if you're in Windows, the shortcut for this clipboard is Windows +V, so that you can have a bunch of copied things in one frame. And once you wrap your app with Chakra provider, you're actually done with setup of Chakra UI in your application. Great job. And talking about customizing theme, which is actually optional, for this you can follow along this documentation, and then you can easily implement this as well because the code is really simple and easy to use. But in our case, we'll be using default theme of Chakra UI. All right. So in our app.js, let's implement a button. For that, all you have to do is import button from Chakra UI React, and then use this button with some text. And let's check it out. And there we go. We have button over there. So our Chakra UI is working. So let's give it a style. Let's change the color of it to Sam. And that's completely working, but let's give it more styles. With 100, height 100, display flex, background gray. And let's change the background to black for this button. And there we go. And I'll be meeting you in the next chapter. Welcome to the new chapter. In this chapter, we'll be setting our routes for our application using React Router. For that, all you have to do is go to this React Router documentation, and in installation section, you'll get this command to install React Router, npm i React Router. And after installation, the second step is to create a route. And for that, all you have to do is just go to this src folder and create a new folder with name routes. And also create a new file with name index.jsx. And after that, you need to go to the documentation again. I'll be putting link for this page in the description, right? You have to import this create browser router and router provider. And after that, you have to create a router. And finally, all we need to do is to use this router provider in our main.jsx. So let's first export this router. And let's go to our main.jsx. And let's first import this router provider. Let's import all this and copy it here. And we'll not need this create browser router. We'll just need this router provider, and let's use this router provider inside of the strict mode, right? So in our case, we are using inside the chakra provider, but should be actually inside the strict mode. And we won't need this app as well. And let's import this router. And let's go to our route file. And as you can see, path is root and element is some dummy text. And let's check it out. And that is working, I guess. Let's refresh. Yeah, that's working. All right. In our root route, we have this dummy text. And let's now use this app.jsx as our home route. All right. So let's make a home route. So path will be /home. And element will be this app. And let's test it out. So if we go to home route, then we should see this app pace, right? So we made two routes until now, and we won't need this router provider in index.jsx as well. Let's now create a route for a register. All right. So for that, all we have to do is go to this src, create a new folder with name paces, and make a new file with name register.jsx. And after that, you can just use the snippet called RAFCE, which comes from extension, and the extension is actually it's actually ES7 plus React, something like that. If you type in React, you'll get this one, right? So this is the one. So you just need to install it, and after that, you just need to when you type in RAFCE, it'll come as a suggestion, and just need to tap in the tab key. So let's now make a route for that register case. So path name will be register. And the auto completion that I actually see is actually an extension called Amazon Q. It's actually an auto completion, AI tool, right? That'll just complete your code, so you can just install it, and you can enjoy this auto completion features. So yeah, so element will be that register page. And that's it. Let's test it out. And that was all the basics of route. Congratulations. And let's test it out. And that's working. All right. And I'll see you in the next chapter. In this chapter, we'll be talking about layout in React. So layout in React is basically it's a layout or where you can find reusable components like navbar. Something like this, right? In every pages of the application. So what layout does is it helps to speed up the application development, because we don't have to write code for navbar in every pages, right? So we can do it in just one file. So before making layout, let's first of all remove this home route, all right? So let's remove this from here, and also let's remove this app file. So let's now make a layout. For that, we have to go to src, and let's make a new file, layout/mainlayout.jsx. And let's now create a simple functional component. So let's now change this to box from Chakra UI, and Chakra UI, and this box is gonna be our layout now, right? And inside of here, we'll have first of all navbar. All right. So let's comment navbar. And we'll have outlet, which is actually from React router. We'll need to import it from React router. And this outlet basically is a placeholder for nested route. All right. That means it'll basically represent the pages where our layout is applied to. So we will understand that in a while. First, let's make a navbar. All right. Let's give it a position as fixed, and top as 0, and also left as 0, and width as 100 view width. So let's now create a route for this main layout. All right. So here in the top, let's create a route like that, and let's keep path as a root route with this slash. And in the element, we'll have this main layout that we just created. And after that, we'll have a children. All right. So children basically mean the nested routes. All right. So we'll put this root route and register in the children of this main layout. So basically, this hello world and register route are gonna be outlet for the main layout. So these two pages are going to have navbar without writing code for navbar in these pages automatically. So let's now change this to text first of all, and let's give it a color as white. And let's now do one thing. Let's go to register, and from there also let's change text color as white, like that. And let's now remove this app from main.jsx, and also let's remove this app from index.jsx, and that's it. And as you can see in the register route, we have successfully implemented layout. Let's now go to the main layout file and let's change style. So let's give color to navbar as white, and let's also change background for this box. And for that, I'll be going to my GitHub repo, and I'll be putting a link in the description of this video. And this is going to be a very simple CSS. You'll easily understand this. They're just width, height, background, a display, something like that. All right. So it's very simple to understand, like that. And as you can see, we have successfully implemented this main layout in our register and also in this root route. Let's now create this real navbar component with these links and buttons. So let's now go to src and there create a folder called components and then file navbar.jsx. And for this component, I'll be just copying everything from my GitHub repository because this is going to be very simple UI with just links and buttons. That's why I'm not, explaining much for this component. You'll easily understand it. So let's remove this return first of all. And in this return section, let's copy this box until here. And let's paste it over here. And also let's copy this imports from top to this React router DOM, and let's paste at the top. And in main layout.jsx, let's go to main layout.jsx. Let's remove this navbar and let's use this navbar we just created. And I think we forgot to export. So yeah, let's add export over here and let's now import that navbar. So yeah. And let's check it out. And there you go. There's an error. So import React router DOM. So let's go to this one and let's change this one to React router. And also here in the image src, you'll find the image in my GitHub repository. I'll be putting a link in the description. So you can just download it from here and put this in assets as this name or any other name. So you can put it over here. And the last thing in this navigation buttons, let's first of all remove everything. Let's copy this wrapper, all right, and then remove everything inside of the add stack, all right, until this add stack remove everything, and just paste those links, register and login. So inside this add stack, we'll be just putting this two links, login and register. So let's check it out, and there you go. And let's add our code to Git. So git add all, git commit -m with message, Chakra UI setup, React router setup, and main layout, like that, and git push. And I'll see in the next chapter where we'll start building our register page. Welcome to the new chapter, and in this chapter we're looking at how to make a register page with forms for form validation using React hook form. All right, so we'll be using that library. So let's go to the React hook form documentation and let's go to get started. And let's get started by installing this package. So it's npm installed React hook form. Let's go to terminal and paste the command there. And that's it. And after that, let's look at the Figma design first of all for our register page. So there's gonna be forms with a username, email, password, and the role. All right. So this is just gonna be a form and some buttons. All right. So let's build it out in our code. So first of all, let's remove everything and let's start by giving a box. All right. And let's give just a title, register, And then for style, I'll be using my own GitHub code. All right, you can find the URL in the description of this video. I'll be putting that, and you can just copy it from there and then just paste to style this box as a card. All right. And there's nothing but just a basic CSS. That's why I'm just keeping this part, because you can easily understand. If it's complex one, then I'll definitely explain. But for basic CSS, you'll easily understand. And because I'm doing this, because if I start explaining each and everything, UI part, then it'll be very lengthy. That's why. So let's give it a heading with title register. And let's give it some styles, like margin button will be 6. Size will be large. And text align will be center. And now let's create a form, right? So for that, we need this form tag, and of that, we'll use this v stack. It's a vertical stack that'll come from Chakra UI, right? And after that, let's give it a spacing as 4. That means gap between the forms. And after that, we'll be wrapping this vertical stack. And after that, we'll be using now a form control that will come again from Chakra UI. And inside the form control, we'll be using the form label to label the input. And so let's import it first of all, and we got it there, right? And after that, we'll be using the form label to actually give a label to the form input, right? So it's going to be username first of all. And after that, we'll be using the input field. All right, so for that, we'll have this input type is going to be text for username. Placeholder is going to be enter your username, or so let's enter username to make it short. And after that, we'll be using some styles like border color is going to be grayed at 300. And as you can see, and after that, we can just copy and paste down as well. We just change the title as email and placeholder as enter email, and also the type is going to be email. Let's now do the same thing for password as well. You just need to copy it and just change something like here password, and for type will be password, and placeholder will be enter password. And finally, we need a role now, right? So let's copy it first and paste it out, and then we need to change this as role, and this input is gonna be a select, because we are gonna have the select box over there, right? So it's gonna be select, and it'll come from Chakra UI again, right? And inside of the select, you'll use this option, value as user and value as admin, right? So you get there. And after that, let's give style to the select to change the color of the text. So color will be gray 400. And yeah, and after that, we will need some buttons, login and register, right? So let's give a button, and after that, let's put register over here, and button is not defined because I forgot to import. And yeah, so it's working now. After that, what you have to do is, let's give some styles, and I'll just copy it from there and paste it over there. Color scheme sand, color as black, type submit, and with as full, right? And let's give a text here to say if you already have an account, you can go to the login, right? Something like that. So let's keep it. Its style, font size will be small, and color will be gray 600. And I think that's it. And let's give a login link here. And before that, we need 2 links from React Router DOM and Chakra UI. Right, so let's import link as Chakra link from Chakra UI React, and import link from React Router as router link. And it should be React Router, all right? I forgot to mention. And yeah, it should be React Router. And after that, of this text, let's provide Chakra link as a router link and to login, and color should be sand 400. And let's make this font width as bold. All right, let's keep it bold. And after that, let's provide a login over here. And as you can see, this is login. And let's give a little space onto left. For that, we have margin left as 1, and that should be it. Now our UI has been already done. Now let's register this form fields using React Hook form, all right, for form validation and for submission. So let's import, first of all, use form from React Hook form, all right. And after that, it's very easy to integrate React hook form in your form, right? I'll be showing that. In your functional component, inside of the functional component here, we'll need to import something from a use form, right? So it should be, first of all, register to register the form fields, right? And after that, we need this handle submit for so submitting the form, right? And we also need the form state to keep track of the form state, like loading of the form, or like submission errors, right? So import this errors, and is submitting, all right? That should come from use form. And so register for registering forms, handle submit for handling submission, and and form state for some errors, form validation errors, and for submitting, for keeping track of the form submission, right? And after that, we also need some default values for the form fields, right? So that the initial value that will be rendered when your page is loading. So for that, we'll have default values, and let's give it some name for form fields. So let's give a different name. Email should be email as empty. Let's give password, username, and then role, I think should be user. And this user should be capitalized, right? All right. So it's a requirement from the backend, but yeah. And after that, what we need to do now is register the. First of all, let's give on submit, and let's give it handle submit, and let's give it a function on submit. We'll be creating this on submit function now, right? So it'll basically get invoked when we handle submit, right? When we click register. So let's get const on submit, and this is going to be a function, right? And here it'll take the form data, that means the data of the form, right? Username, email, password, etc. And let's just log the form data. And yeah, form data. And after that, let's give a quick test if it works or not. All right. So let's give username, email, password, and the role. All right. Let's keep the role admin, and let's register. And as you can see, we are not getting anything except the default values, right? Why is that? Because we have not registered our form fields yet. So to register, what you need to do is, it's very easy. Just need to put this register, right? And after that, you just need to put the name of the form, like this is username. For username, it's username, and for email, it was email, right? Like in default values, what we have given, we should just put that name, right? So for this should be password, and for role, it should be inside the select. Let's go here and just keep that as role. And let's test it now, and this should finally work now. All right, let's give a username as something, email, password, role, and let's register. And now it's working because we have finally registered our input fields. Now, the last thing we need to do is validate the form, all right? For that, all you need to do is go to that register function and give a comma, and as a second argument, you just need to put this object, and inside that required, and just give a message if it is empty, right? So email is required, something like that, and just copy it to the username as well, and let's make it same and just change it to username. And let's go to the passwords as well, just give password, right? And let's give the same thing to this select as well. And let's make it role is required. And that's it. So to validate, we have this is invalid prop that we can pass in the form control, right? So you just need to put is invalid as prop and give it a name, errors dot the name of field, that is username for username, right? And here you just need to put the same thing, is invalid, and then errors dot the field name, that is email, right? Here in the password, same thing again, name is password. And for this role, we have a role. So let's give it a quick test. Let's remove that first, and let's try to register. So it's working if the form is not empty, but if we try to make some input empty, then it will not work. That means form will not be submitted. So it's actually working. Our form validation is actually working, but we are not actually seeing the message, right? So we also want to see the message in case our form is not validated. All right. So for that, all we need to do is let's go here in the form control section. And after the form control, all we need to do is import this form error message from Chopper UI, right? We need to import that. And here, just need to give errors dot name, that is email, and dot message. That's it. Now let's test it out to display this error message. When I register, it should show the message, but the message is not displayed. It could be the issue of color, maybe. Let's give it a color as red, and it's still not working. And I figured it out. The problem was actually because we put that form error message outside the form control. It should be actually inside the form control, right? And let's not forget to import it from Chopper UI React, right? And here errors.email with message, because email is actually the name, right? Name of the input field. That's well. And let's put the same thing in the username as well. And let's change this to username, right? And you're getting the error as undefined because a lot of times when you first render will get undefined, the problem will be solved by optional chaining. So this is actually optional chaining, question mark, and then dot. So if you want to learn more about optional chaining, I've made a video on that. You can just check out on the right corner of the screen, card, right? So you can just check it out there. And let's change everywhere in every input fields. So let's give same thing to the password input as well. And let's first of all make this password. And for the role, we just need to go after this select and put that form error message, and let's make it a role. And that's it. And our form validation is perfectly working now. And in the next chapter, we'll be integrating API in our register to make our register fully functional and to store the users. Welcome to the new chapter. And in this chapter, we'll be integrating API in our register page. And for that, we'll be using Axios. So Axios is actually a promise-based HTTP client for data fetching, right? So it's like a fetch, but it's more advanced. And there are so many features like interceptors, intercepting requests and responses, timeouts for timing out the requests. There's automatic request body parsers like JSON parser, and yeah, so let's install it. So the command is npm install Axios. Let's go to terminal and install Axios. And of that, let's go to src. And in this src, let's create a folder services and another folder auth/Axios instance.js. So we'll be creating Axios instance. Let's import Axios from Axios, and let's make Axios instance now. So const Axios instance will be Axios.create function, and inside that function create object and get this URL and comma and headers, and again inside that content type will be application JSON, and let's wrap it out, and that's it. And for API, we'll be using this free API, and I'll be putting the link for this in the description of this video so they can just check it out. And for this URL, we'll be using this one, right? So this is the actual BIS URL for our backend. BIS URL means where the API of the backend is, and there's headers with content type as application JSON. Let's now export this Axios instance first of all, so that we can use it in our pages. So first of all, in this auth folder, the services auth folder, we will be making a new file with name auth.js, where so for data fetching, we'll be using a React query, 10-stack React query. So it's actually great for data fetching, service state management. So let's show the overview. So it's actually great for data fetching, caching, server state management. So let's go to installation first of all, and let's copy this. I'll be putting the link in the description as well. And let's install it from the terminal, npm i @10-stack React query. And let's go back to the documentation again to set up a React query in our application. So quick start, and they can get all the code necessary for setup. So first of all, we'll need to import all of these things from 10-stack React query, and after that we'll need this query client, and we'll need this wrapper, query client provider, to wrap our main app. So let's first of all copy this imports, And finally, copy this query client provider to wrap our main application. So let's open up main.jsx, and let's first of all import those from 10 stack query. And after that, inside of the strict mode, also here we need first of all make a query client. So const query client with a small q, and it should come from use a new query client. All right. And after that, what we need to do is after this strict mode, we need to use this query client provider and give a client as that query client. And that's it. Let's wrap it. And that's it for our setup. Now let's go to this auth.js to create mutation for registering the users. And trust me, it is damn easy. All right. So you can also find in the code for mutation here as well. We just need to copy it, right? And just paste it over there and, make some changes. All right. I'll be explaining each and everything over here. So let's first import from 10 stack React query. And we'll need a hook called use mutation. And let's now create a query client, const query client equal new query client. And query client will come from 10 stack React query. And let's remove this query. We don't need that. And after that, now finally we'll be making function for creating the user. So let's give it a name, use a register, because this is going to be hook. All right. So it's a function. And after that, what we'll be doing is now we'll be using that use mutation over here. So let's return use mutation. So it's going to be a function, and inside of that, let's create an object first, and after that, let's give mutation fn, right? Fn is going to be a function, right? So mutation fn, and that is going to be a function. Now let's make it async function, and now let's create a function for that. And so mutation function will basically take the data that we serve from the pages, and after that, let's create the API request. So response will be await access instance that we created. So let's import it, and it will be dot post, because we are creating a post request with the URL that we have. So if we see the API for register in our free API, it's actually users register, right, after the base URL. Right, so we just need to put this this path. We just need to put the path here, users register, and then comma, and then the data that we get from the form, right? And that's it. And we just need to return response dot data, and that is it. Now all we need to do is use this use register in our register page. And we also will need this query client, so let's remove from here as well. And that is it. All right, so let's recap it a little bit. So use register, this function is actually a hook, which is actually a function which will return use mutation, and it's again a function with mutation fn as key, and this is a real function which will post the request to the register API URL. And because we have already created the base URL in our access instance, we don't need to put the full URL when we're using it, and just provide the path. Let's now use this hook in our register page now. All right. So first of all, let's import use register from the file that we just created, right? And after that, inside of the register component, we just need to import something called muted async, which actually comes from use register, right? So let's give it a name as register user, something like that. And after that, we need to use this after here in on submit function, right? So inside of on submit, we'll need to use this try catch first of all. So let's make a catch block like that. And inside the try, we'll use await and that muted async, but we have a name already as register user, right? We gave it a name, so, with form data like that. And we are getting this error in await because we are now using async in the function, right? So yeah. And in the catch, first of all, let's catch the error and let's log it, and also alert it. That's it. Now our API integration has been done, and let's test it out. Let's open up debug tool using shortcut or right-clicking on your page and inspect element or inspect page. And let's go to network tab and then give some dummy data to register our user. And when we click register, it will register and says registration failed. So the error, we can actually figure out the error by going to the console. And as you can see, there's actually representing some kind of mutation error, something like that. No mutation F and found, right? So it's basically error with this mutation and this a typo here. So it should be mutation F and so it was actually a typo, right? So let's test it out again. Give some dummy datas and go to network tab and let's register. And this time again, we are getting some error 422. It's new error actually. 422 on processable entity. Let's go to request, and if we see our everything is correctly set, but still giving me the error. Let's see the response to figure out what actually error is, and it's saying received data is not valid. Let's go to request. Everything's yeah, all right. So user is not actually capitalized, right? So let's go to the register page and select the select, and as you can see there, user is should be capitalized and admin should be capitalized as well. The error was like that. So it was actually 422. That means validation it, right? So let's register again, and this is actually giving the same error again because sorry, it's actually cached. So we need to refresh first of all because it's actually cached, right? So let's first of all refresh and try it again. So it's been successful, right? So let's go to the request and let's go to response and let's go to data and let's make it a little big. And then if you go to data, we have finally received all the data of the user. That means we have successfully registered our user. And to improve the user experience, let's also notify the user when user is registered, right? For that, all we have to do is a simple thing. Let's import use toast from Chakra UI React. And after that, inside of this register, let's make a toast called use toast, right? And then just after we register of this await, use this toast, right? And give it object. And inside there, we just need to put some title, description, and status. And also some duration, and it's closable like that, right? So duration is actually the time that we show the toast, and is closable is if we have the cross button or not, right? And let's do the same if some error occurs, right? The only difference is the title, description, and status. Status should be error, and that's it. All right. So let's test it out again. Let's give it some dummy data, email, password, and let's register. And as you can see, you see the toast. And that's it for this chapter. And I'll be meeting you in the next chapter where we'll be creating a login page. In our previous chapter, we created a register page. Now we're going to be creating a login page now, right? So let's first go to our route file to create a route for our login page. And after that, let's create a path and element for login. So let's copy this register. And let's give path as login. And let's now create a login page. So let's go to pages and make login.jsx and give a dummy component. And let's now import login. And let's now start to create our login page. So first of all, let's remove this and make it a text with color white. And let's import it first of all. And there we go. We have login, right? And now everything is going to be kind of similar to register page, right? So let's make a box first of all for that login card. So let's import box and let's give it a style like in register page. Right? Everything is going to be synced like in register. And after that, let's give a heading first as login. And let's style it a little bit by giving size as LZ, and margin bottom will be 6, like in register. And then we'll create a form. And then we'll be creating a vertical stack with spacing as 4. And let's wrap it first of all. And inside of the vertical stack, we'll be creating a form control. And inside of the form control, let's make a form label as email and input field for email. And let's copy the form control and let's make a password field. So let's change it to password, and let's change type as password, and this one as password as well. And finally, we'll need a button for login and also for register. If the user has not already been registered, they'll just go to the register page. All right. So we'll just first of all create an account. So it's a button that'll just navigate to the register page. Let's give it some styles. Variant will be outline. Color scheme will be sand. And let's also give a width as full, and that should be it. And also let's give it on click, or maybe right now let's remove this. We'll just do it later on because this one is actually for navigation. And let's create a copy, and let's make the first one as login. This one should be login, right? And we'll need to remove this variant as outline because this is going to be primary button. And after that, we'll also provide type as submit. And let's also give it a color as black. All right. And for this create an account, because this is a navigation button, we will need to import use navigate from React router. Right, it should be React router. And after that, we'll need to instantiate this navigate. Navigate equals use navigate. And after that, we'll use this navigate here in on click. So when on click, it's going to be a function, and it should go to register, right? So when I go to login page now, it's actually giving me the error, and the error is related to import. So let's remove this login import first of all, and now it should work. All right. So input is not defined, so it's an actually import error. So let's import it from Choco UI, and now it should work. So we have finally created our login page now, and when I go to register, it should go to register, and when I go to login, it'll go to the login page, right? Now let's create a form validation for our login page. So let's go to our code back. And let's first of all import use form from React hook form. And like we did in register, we'll need to import register, handle submit, form state as errors, and is submitting from use form. And also inside of use form, create an object and use this default values. And let's give email and password as empty. And in the form, we'll need to pass on submit. And inside of that on submit, we'll need to use this handle submit. And then we'll need to provide the function as on submit. And now we'll create a best by creating this on submit function. And so let's on submit should be a function which will right now just log the data that we get. And now in our form control, we'll need to use invalid to actually check the validation. So is invalid is going to be errors.email for email field, and it's going to be same, but the name is going to be password. And let's register each of our field as well. So it's going to be a spread operator, a register, and the name email, and comma, and object required email is required, something like that. Copy it out and paste it over here as well with some changes. It should be password, and that's it. And let's also give a form error message to display the error message in case of errors. And let's use optional chaining over here, errors !.email !.message, and same one in the password field as well. And this one should be password, and that's it. And let's check it out. Let's open up the debug tool, and let's remove that. and let's give the email that you registered before and the password and login. And if we see here, the password is actually empty, so that's definitely an issue. Maybe let's give email again, and let's remove this, and let's first of all remove everything, and let's log in. And as you can see, the form validation is only working for email and not for password, so definitely there's an issue in the password field. And so we actually used email in the password field, so it should be password in the register of password, and this should work now. All right, so let's test it out again for validation, and it's actually working now. If we log in again, and this should work. So it's actually working, right? Now our UI and form validation has been completed. Now let's integrate API for login like in register, and this time we should go to login, and the path is users login. And let's now create a hook for login like in register. So let's copy everything from register, and let's now change the hook name to login. And the only change we have now here is the path should be login like that. And let's now use this use login hook in our login piece like we did in the register. So let's go inside of this, and let's first of all we treat muted async as login from use login. And let's use this muted async inside this onSubmit inside of the try block. So let's await login and data like that. And after that, let's catch the error, and let's give it error like that. And let's console.error and some message like login failed. So API integration has been done. Let's now test it out. So there's an error, use login is not defined because we forgot to import it from the file. Like that. So now it should probably work. All right. So let's go to the login page, and first of all, remove everything from console, and let's test it out with the registered mail and password. And our post request has been successfully created. And let's make it big first of all, and let's see the response. And as you can see, we have received the data, and here we have received access and refresh token. And also in the user, we have received role of the user too. And after login, I should go to the product catalog automatically, right? So for that, let's first of all make a route for product catalog, right? So let's copy it, and let's change path to product first of all, and let's give a dummy text as of now. Let's give a text from Chalk UI, and let's make it product paste like that. And when I, after I successfully logged in, I should navigate to that product. So it should be navigate and the product. And so let's test it out. So when I log in, I should go to the product page. So yeah, that's working. So everything is working now. So let's now, store our access and refresh token after we are actually logged in, So when we are logged in, we get access and a refresh token, right? So let's do it again. And when we log in, and if you see this an error again, and request is used not exist. All right. As I said before, in every 2 hours, we need to register. And so let's register it first. So after registered, we got the data. Now let's log in with the same registered data now. And let's log in. And as you can see, now it's working, right? So we are getting access and a refresh token, as you can see, right? So we need to store it in the client side, the local storage here, right? So for that, what we have to do is we'll need state management, right? For that, what we'll be doing is we'll be storing the access and refresh token here in the local stores. We can do it, custom as well, but for that we have a package called Justin. All right. So Justin basically, let's go to the documentation of Justin, and it's actually a very small and lightweight state management solution. And let's first install it, right? So it's very easy to learn and to integrate as well. So let's go to the terminal. Let's enter npm install Justin, and there we go. And after that, we'll need to go to the src folder, and let's create a folder with the name store, right, and /auth store.js, right. Now we'll need to set up Justin here. For that, we'll need to import create from Justin. And let's now create a hook like in React hook form, but this time it should be use auth store. And we will use this create to create a function, right? And this function will basically take a set, all right? And inside of, so let's wrap this object like that. And inside of this function, we'll basically set the token, right? So set tokens is basically going to be a function which will basically take our tokens, namely access token and refresh token, like that, right? So this is going to be a function which will basically stored in the local stores, right? So first of all, let's check if there's access token or not, right? So if there's access token, in that case, we'll store it in the local stores. So local stores dot set item with the key name as the access token, right? Let's make it simple. Let's give it name access token, and then comma and the access token that we get. And same for the refresh token as well. If there's refresh token, we'll store it in the local stores as a refresh token. So we now made set tokens function. Now let's make a state itself, that is access and refresh token, right? So first of all, let's make an access token a state, right? And we'll be getting access token from local stores as a name access token, right? So local stores dot get item access token. And if there's not in local stores, then we'll set it as null, right? And similarly for refresh token as well. So let's change this to refresh token, and let's change the name as refresh token as well. And that's it. We just set up our Justin to use in our application. And let's export it. And also, I forgot to mention, we need to set our token access and refresh token in the set tokens function as well, right? We'll also store in local stores and also in the state of the Justin, like that. And that's it. All right. Now we are ready to use our use auth store in our login page. So what we'll basically do is after we are logged in, we'll get access and refresh token, right? Now all we need to do is after we are logged in, after this await, so let's first make it a response equals await, like that. And here in response, we're getting access and refresh token. So let's destructure access token and a refresh token. Access token, key capital, and refresh token, like that, from response dot data. And after that, we'll be using the set tokens that we just created in the auth store, right? So first of all, let's get it from use auth store. So const set tokens equals use auth store, and we should import from the auth store file, right? And after that, we'll use that set tokens function and set tokens and provide these access and refresh tokens, like that. So we did everything for login. Now let's test it out. So let's open up the developer tool, go to storage in the local storage in this file. So here we need to get access and refresh token after we log in, right? So let's give the credentials that we registered with. So let's give email and password and login, and we should give the validated email. So let's log in. And after we log in, if we go to the post, it's been successful. So if we go to the storage, so we got the access and refresh token there. So we perfectly use Justin to store GLMT tokens in our client storage. And in our next chapter, we'll be looking at how to make logout functionality. So once we are logged in our application, what we need to do is, we need to display a logout here in an app bar, right? So let's create that in our navbar. So let's go to navbar.jsx. And after that, let's first of all access token from use auth store. And we can actually retrieve this access token like in a destructured object format, and that'll be given by this hook use auth store, which we previously made, right? So because access token is a state of use auth store, we can access like that. All right. So it's actually a function. So let's keep a parenthesis like that. And after that, we need to display these navigation buttons conditionally. That means we need to remove this login and register buttons first of all up to this add stack, right? And let's make a condition if there's no access token or if we are not logged in, all right? In that case, we'll be displaying login and register. So let's copy here, right? Paste it over here. If you're not logged in, we need to display login and register. And if we are logged in that case, we'll be displaying this log out. And sorry, I gave extra braces here. So let's remove it first of all. And that should be it. The condition is fine, I guess. If there's no access token, we'll be displaying login and register. And in the other case, we'll be displaying log out. But it's not getting displayed because we should use proper style here. So let's give a button from Chocolate UI and let's give log out, and this should display log out in case we are logged in, right? Because we are right now currently logged in. That's why it's showing me all log out. And let's quickly give this button some styles. Let's make color scheme as sand, color as black, and size as MD, medium, like that. And also give on click, and here we will provide a logout function. So let's create a logout function now. So here inside the navbar component of this access token, a const logout, and then the arrow function. And inside of this function, first of all, what we need to do is log out the user from the server side. All right. So for that we have there's an error over here, and the error is actually from this extra braces. Sorry for that. And when we click log out, we need to remove access and refresh token from the client side. But before that, we need to remove the user from the server side. And for that, we have endpoint called a logout user, right? Now if you see here, there's a logout user, and the path is actually users logout. So let's integrate that API in our logout function, right? So for that, we'll use this try catch and await access instance. We'll be using access instance, which is this very short API, and post, it's a post request, and the path name as users logout, and that should be it. It should remove the users from the server side. And in case of error, we'll use this catch block, and we'll simply console this error. We'll simply log this error, right? And after that, we'll also be using finally, right, which will actually work in any of the cases, if it is successful, if it is not successful. So in that case, we'll just navigate to the login path. All right. So let's first create this navigate, and let's import it from React Router and use it inside the finally to navigate to the login page like that. And let's remove this await error by giving async to this logout function. And let's now remove the token from the client storage. All right. So let's after this post request, local storage.remove item, access token, and refresh token. And this should remove access and refresh token, right? But that's not a best practice. Best practice is to create those local storage, removing items in just in store itself, right? So for that, we'll just create a function which we can reuse in our logout. So it'll be a clear token, right? You can name it anything. And inside here, we will just use this local storage remove item access token that we have used over here. So there's no need to use local storage here. You can simply use clear tokens that we just created. And I don't think we need finally over here, because this navigate should actually be in the try block, because we can only navigate after if logout is successful. All right. So let's put it inside the try block after this clear tokens, and there should be catch block, and that's it. We won't need finally. And I forgot to retrieve clear tokens from use auth store. So let's do it. And now it's all right. So we did everything we need for the logout functionality. So let's test it out. All right. So let's remove everything from network first, and let's log out. And there's see 401 error. So it's actually unauthorized error. And let me refresh and log out again. Right. Let's open network tab and let's log out again. And there's an error again. So it's actually 401 unauthorized. So let's go to request. It's nothing request. And the response we have got unauthorized. So the headers, if we see, let's see if there's authorization key or not. So there's no authorization key. That means we forgot to, actually use authorization key in the headers of our Axios instance. So basically that is the issue, right? So let's go back to our Axios instance, right? Let's go back to our Axios instance, and here, as you can see, there's no authorization. So let's create authorization key as well. So it should be authorization and bearer, and then this local storage.get item access token. And now let's remove and let's try it again, and it is finally working, right? And also the nav bar has been changed, and also in the storage, if you see the local storage, there's no access and refresh token. That means our logout functionality is working perfectly. So in our next chapter, we'll be looking at how to use refresh token to automatically refresh the access token in case it is expired, all right? So that the user experience will be much better. So in the previous chapter, we successfully used access token in our request, right? Now let's see how to use a refresh token to fetch access token in case access token expires automatically without being logged out. All right, so let's see the diagram first of all, how to use access and refresh token. All right, and let's see the login flow with only access token first of all, so to better understand. So first of all, let's see why JWT was introduced. All right, so actually JWT was introduced to mitigate the problem that was caused by the traditional session-based system, right? So it enables basically more secure authentication for modern application. All right, so now let's see what is the difference between the access and refresh token. So access token basically is a short time access token. It's generally 5 minutes to 15 minutes up to 1 hour, but refresh token will last for 7 days to 30 days. All right, so an access token is actually used in headers of our API request, like we did here, right? So in headers, we have this access token. But a refresh token is generally used to request new access token in case access token expires, right? So refresh token, if you see here, it's actually, the endpoint will be something like this. And this is used to get the access token when it expires, right? And if the access token is expired, we'll use the refresh token to get new access token. But if the refresh token is expired, we'll redirect the user to login page to get authenticated again. So why were refresh token introduced? Because there already was access token, right? So basically it was introduced to enhance security and to improve user experience in application that uses access token for authentication, right? Because when access token expires, instead of redirecting user to login, we'll use refresh token to get access token automatically, right? So that user will not be logged out until and unless refresh token itself expires. So now let's see the diagram to better understand it. First of all, user will send username and password to the server, right? And after that, it'll get access token, and client will store that in local storage. And after that, it'll use the access token in header of HTTP request to get the data, right? And in case it is expired, if the access token is expired, we'll get 401 HTTP status, and that'll redirect us to log in. And we will send username and password again, and the whole process repeat. But if it is not expired, we'll only in that case we will get the data, right? So that is the flow, login flow with only access token. But in case of access and refresh token, the flow is kind of same until access token expires. All right. First of all, a user will send username and password, and after that, we'll get access and refresh token and store that in the client side and use access token to get data from the server, right? But if access token is expires, we'll get this 401. But this time, instead of logging out, we'll use refresh token to get new access token, right? So if you see the endpoint of the refresh token, we'll use this endpoint to get new access token. using the refresh token, right? So, and after that, we'll get access token and store it in the client side, right? So, and after that, we'll get the data, something like that, right? The flow is like that. And so, but in case the refresh token expires, we'll get 401 again, and only in that case we'll redirect to login, and user will repeat the same process again. So that was all about the login flow with access token and login flow with access and refresh token. So let's implement that in our code. Now, if you see here, this was the case for using access token only, right? We'll use authorization in headers, but in case we are using access and refresh token, we'll need to use interceptors, all right? So let's first make the request interceptors to add access token. So it's actually easy, all right? All we have to do is access instance dot interceptors dot request and dot use. And that's it. So this is going to be a function, and this will take a callback as a first argument, right? And error as a second argument. Now this is also going to be a function, all right? So in case of error, we'll just resect the promise, something like that. And in case there's no error, what we'll do is, first of all, we'll get the access token from local stores. So let's make it token and local stores.get item access token. And if there's token, we'll just set the access token in our header, something like that, access token dot defaults dot headers, and we'll just put the access token in that header, right? So we are done with the request interceptors. Now let's add interceptor for response to refresh the access token in case it expires. So access instance dot interceptors dot this time response dot use, and this will take two argument. First one will be an empty function, something like that, and the second one will be a function for error. So let's make a function first of all, and after that let's add error as an argument. And in our first function, we'll just return the response. So let's catch the response here, and let's return the response as it is, because we only need to use the refresh token in case we get error. That's why we are working in this function. All right. Now let's first of all get the original request, and we can get the original request from error.config. And now if the error is specific, I mean, if it is unauthorized error, or if the error status is 401, and if the request has not been retried, only in that case we'll refresh the token. So if error.response, first of all, this should be happy. There should be an error, and if error.response.status is equal 401, and the original request dot underscore retry is false, that means original request has not been retried, only in that case we'll refresh the token. So if we look at the diagram, so if we are getting 401 HTTP status, this is the only time we are using the refresh token, right? So let's first of all make this original request retry as true, because this is where we'll be retrying our request. Now we'll be using the refresh token to get new access token. So let's try catch. Let's use try catch for that first of all. And in the catch section, we're getting the error in case there's an error while refreshing the access token, right? And in case there's an error while refreshing the access token, what we do is, if you see the flow diagram, in case there's error in refreshing the token, we'll redirect the user to log in, right? So let's change the reference of the location of window.location.ref equals login, and then we'll simply clear the tokens as well from the local stores, and finally resect the promise. And in the try section, we use a refresh token to get new access token. So we'll be using a request here, API request, right? So first of all, we'll retrieve the refresh token that we have in the local stores, right? And after that, what we'll do is we will send API request in that refresh token endpoint to get new access token. So const response equals await, and this time we'll be using access, right? Access.post and the endpoint of the refresh token, and then a refresh token like that. And we also have to make this function as async to use await. So basically what we're doing here is we are using this refresh token endpoint, which will provide us the access token. So you can find the endpoint over here, right? So this is users and refresh token, right? So users and refresh token, and this will provide us the new access token. So now let's retrieve that access token from the response. Const access token equals response.data. Now we'll store this access token in two places. One is local stores and another one is header of the access instance. So let's first of all store it in the local stores. So local stores.set item, access token, and access token. And access instance.defaults.headers common authorization equals bearer access token. And it is very useful when we provide comments, something like that, so that we can easily understand what's going on. All right. And there are so many ways to add access token in the header of the access instance, but this one is more short. And if you want more shorter than this one, we have something called original request dot headers, right? So let's use that one. So original request dot headers, and we'll provide the authorization and then provide the access token like that. And finally, what we have to do is retry the original request after we get the access token, right? So return access instance and original request. So we finally did everything that we actually needed, like in flow diagram, right? After access token is expired, we used refresh token to get access token, and then we stored it in the client side, and we again used that access token to retry the original request without getting logged out. And finally, we'll have to do a small thing, and that is resecting the promise if the error is not related with 401. So here in the if section, we'll have to wrap it first. And here, after if section, we'll have to return promise.resect, something like that. All right. And so let's recap the flow again. So after we get response, in case there's no any error, we'll simply return the response like that. All right. And in case there's an error, we'll first of all get the original request from error.config, and we'll check the error. If the error response status is 401, that means if it is unauthorized, in that case, we'll simply make this retry true and then attempt to refresh token. So we'll get the refresh token from local stores and then hit the API request to get new access token. And after that, we will store that in the local stores and also set that access token in the header of our access instance here, right? And after that, we'll simply, retry that request, original request. So let's comment over here, send the original request again, and that's it. And in case of error, we'll simply return the user to the login and also remove all the tokens from the local stores and simply reset the promise. And in case the error is not related with 401, in that case also we'll simply reset the promise. And I forgot one small thing over here in the request interceptor. We'll have to use config in this argument, and then also need to return that config after this if clause, return config. And also here in getting access token, it should be response.data, like that. And that's it. Let's now add it to our Git. So git add all, git commit -m. Let's now add message, feature, login, logout, and access and refresh token implementation. And finally, git push. And in our next chapter, we'll be implementing protected route to protect the pages for the users who are not logged in. So now we have completed all the login and logout features. So now is the time we make this product catalog page protected so that only logged in users can access this page. It's going somewhere else. So let's first fix that in route. So it should go to, so let's go to this route file and it should go to product, and it's actually going to product, but in navbar, it's going somewhere else. So let's go to the product catalog, and here, if you see the 2, it's going to catalog, should be product, like that. Now, when I go here and let's remove this first of all, and let's go to navbar, and when I click on product catalog, it's actually going to the product page like that. So now, first of all, let's remove this and make our product page. So for that, let's go to pages and create a new file with the name product.jsx. Simple as that. Let's use RBAC and let's now go here and let's import our product like that. And let's import it and should come from pages like that. And now if we see, then our let's go to product, and our product is empty as of now. So let's fill it up with some dummy text. So text, and let's give some color and title. And now let's protect this product page. For that, all we have to do is go to this src, and inside the component, make this auth folder, and then create a file with name protected route.jsx. Now this is kind of same with the functional component, but the difference is it's going to be a wrapper component. So let's first go to route file and then wrap this product page with protected route. Let's wrap this product like that, and let's go to protected route. And now here in the argument, first of all, let's remove that. And in the argument, we'll receive children, right? And children basically mean the page which we have wrapped with this file. That means in our case, it's product. So let's first retrieve access token from local storage to check if user is authenticated or not, right? So after that, if there is access token, in case we have access token, only in that case, we will return the product page, right? Otherwise, we will simply notify the user that you cannot access the space with, let's say, like alert, right? So that's it. And we've got error, and error is in this alert. So we have to return this alert. And that's it. So let's go to our page. And when we try to access product catalog, we get this alert. So now let's modify this alert with the actual model from Chakra UI. So I'll be putting link in the description for this model, right? And from here, we can actually get this kind of model, right? So let's copy this and let's import over here. And after that, to use this model, let's go here. And if you see here, we can just copy this disclosure and let's use it over here. And finally, we need to copy this model component. And let's use it over here instead of alert. And after that, what we need to do is let's go to this. So is open should be true, when we first open model to actually get the model popped up. So for that, we have this on open function, right? So let's invoke that inside of the user effect. So let's import user effect from React, and then inside of here, make a function. And let's make a function first, and then this should open when if there's no access token, right? If users are not logged in. So if there's no access token, we will invoke this on open, which will actually open our model. So that's it. Let's check it out. Let's first remove this alert. And as you can see, use disclosure is not defined. So let's first of all import use disclosure from Chakra UI React. And lorem is not defined. Let's remove this lorem. Button is not defined. So let's import this button as well from Chakra UI React. And it's finally working. Let's now add some text to model body, lorem 10. And if you enter tab, then it'll automatically generate 10 words. All right, so it's actually working. And let's now customize our model body. All right, so first of all, we'll modify this title. So let's remove this and let's say authentication required, because this is the case where user is not logged in, right? So let's remove this body as well, and let's say you must be logged in to access this page. And also let's remove this secondary button from here. We not need this. And finally, we need to change this to go to login. And also here, when we click this, let's make another function. Let's say handle close. And now we'll make a function for handle close. So let's go over here and const handle close. Handle close. And this will simply invoke this on close, retrieve from use disclosure, and also redirect user to log in. And that should be it. Let's check it out. So as you can see, when we click on go back to login, this will simply redirect user to log in, right? Yeah, so it's finally working. So our product page has been protected. And now let's change the background to dark, right? So let's give it gray.800 and let's change the color to gray.300 to make consistent. All right, and that's it. So now users can only access the space after logged in. So let's log in. So as you can see, we can only access the space after logged in. So let's now create this product page. So here we'll not be doing any API integration. We'll simply, display cards, right? For that, I have already made that. So you can find link in the description of this video for this repository. And from here, we can just, display the dummy cards, right? So here's nothing, but we had just used emails and vertical stack and takes. There's nothing much. It's all about UI, right? So you can easily understand it. So I'll just copy it and then paste over here. So I can remove everything and then just paste like that. And let's check it out. So if we go to our product page and let's refresh it. And as you can see, we got the cards. I think that we have to change the background for this card so that it'll be consistent. So let's remove this use color mode value as it is actually for dark and light theme. So we can simply remove this and use gray.800, I think. And let's decrease it a little bit and let's put it 700. And that should be it. So we have finally made our protected product page. And I will see in the next chapter where we'll be implementing role-based access control for our dashboard page, where only admins are allowed and not general users like now. So in this chapter, we'll be, protecting this dashboard page, all right? So we'll also create this dashboard page and also implement role-based access control so that only admins will be allowed for this dashboard and not the general users like in Product Catalog, right? So let's first of all make a route for our dashboard. So let's copy this and, or maybe let's just give path as dashboard. And let's provide element. And let's now create a dashboard. First of all, let's make it empty and create a dashboard. So let's go to src and let's create a folder. First of all, dashboard / and file name dashboard.jsx. And after that, let's create a dummy dashboard page like that. Let's give it a name dashboard. And let's change this to text. And let's give it some color, white. And that should be it as of now. And let's import our dashboard like that. And there we go. Let's now create a UI for our dashboard like this, right? And for that, I have a link over here. So I just copy it. So I'll be providing link in the description as well so that you can just copy it. And let's go to dashboard. And let's paste it over here because we are not using API here. We're just, using a dummy, card like this, right? So if you see here, we are actually making stat card first of all, and we are utilizing the stat component, and then simply using this simple greet and then those stat cards, right? So it's actually coming from Choco UI React. So yeah, so it's actually a basic UI. That's why I have just copied it. So let's now implement role-based access control for our dashboard to protect our dashboard only for admins and not for general users. So let's go to protected route And everything is going to be kind of same. We are just going to get the access token, and if there's access token, we are returning children. Otherwise, we're returning a model like that. All right. So, but the additional thing that we have in role-based protected route is going to be a user role, right? And user role, we're going to get that after we are logged in. So after we are logged in here, we are also going to get the user role. So let's const user role is going to be response dot data dot role. It should be role, right? Because this is how we are going to get the user role after we are logged in. So this is actually the structure of the response that we are going to get from backend. So let's test it out. So once we log in, let me make it a little big, and let's click this XHR, and of that, see the response. The data is actually coming in a format that we are gonna access role, like a role, yeah. So data.user.role, like that. So after that, we are also going to store that role in our local storage, like we did for access and refresh token, right? So let's modify our Justin store. So here, what we have to do is, first of all, let's give user role, and it should actually come from local stores dot get item, and the name will be user role. And in the set tokens after here, if there is user role, then we'll store it in the local stores. And also in the clear tokens, we will remove simply from local stores. And here we can now provide user role like that in set tokens. So let's test it out. So first of all, let's log out, and let's now log in. All right. And let's see if we can store user role in our stores or not. So let's go to the stores, and let's go to local stores. And if we see there's no user role, so let's refresh it, because sometimes the cache will not allow us to, change the data. So let's go to network tab and test it again. And still user role is not being applied. So there's definitely some issue in our code. And finally, I figured out the issue, and the issue was because we forgot to use user role here in set tokens, right, in the Justin store, because we have sent user role in set token like this, right? So that was the issue. So let's test it again. So let's go to network tab, let's log in again, and this time it should work. And if we log in now, as you can see, we have finally stored the user role in our local stores. And also here in store, you have to provide user role in the set and also in the set of clear tokens. So we are finally done with storing our user role in the local stores. Let's now create a role-based protected route. So let's go to src, and in this component, in this auth folder, let's create role-based protected route.jsx. So let's first of all create a dummy functional component with RBAC, and because this is going to be same as protected route and there's going to be very less difference, let's first copy everything from protected route and paste it in role-based protected route like that. And after that, here what we need extra is a user role, right? So we'll get that from use auth store. After that, what we also have to check here is else if, right? So if there's no access token, we'll definitely open the model, but else if there's access token, but user is not allowed. So and not allowed role dot includes user role. That means if the user is not allowed, right, we'll make this allowed role letter. In that case, also we'll open the model. Also here in the access token, we'll add the allowed role code. So allowed role dot includes user role, like that. And here we need to change this to access denied instead of authentication required, right? And also here, we'll put text conditionally. So if there's not access token, we will display you must be logged in, otherwise we'll display you're not permitted. So that should be it. And after that, what we need to do now is simply change this name to role-based protected route, right? So the name should be different. Yep. And after that, in our route file, what we have to do is wrap this dashboard with that role-based protected route. So let's wrap dashboard like that. And after that, we will provide allowed role prop here. So it'll be an array of the roles, right? Right now it is just admin, right? And in the role-based protected route, after this children, let's access this allowed row and also get default value as empty. So let's first of all make our home page real quick. So let's go to this GitHub. I'll be providing link in the description. You can just copy it. There's nothing, just UI part, right? So let's copy it. And let's go to the route file. And here, let's first of all create home page. So in pages folder, let's create a file with home.jsx. And after that, paste it over here. And then here in the root file, let's change this to home. Like that. Let's import it from home pages. Yeah. And now there's an error, React Router DOM error. So let's go to home page and change this React Router DOM to only React Router. And we have finally created home page. Now if I click on the icon, it should redirect me to home page. And when you go to product catalog, this will open up the model. And when we create dashboard, it will open up next model, right? But when we close that model, we need to go to the unauthorized page, right? So let's create unauthorized page, right? Simple. Let's go to pages here and then give a name unauthorized.jsx. Let's make it simple. And after that, it's basically UI. So I'll be providing link for this one also in the description. You can just copy, right? There's nothing but just UI and login as admin button. So let's copy it first of all and paste it in this unauthorized.jsx, and let's go to our route file. And here, let's make a path for unauthorized. So path is to unauthorized, and element will be unauthorized component, right? That should come from pages. So when I go to, let's first of all remove this React Router DOM issue by only using React Router. And also we need to, install this icons. So npm i @chakra-ui/icons, because in this unauthorized page we have used icons. All right. So when I refresh the page now, there should be no error. Yeah. So let's go to unauthorized route. And as you can see, there's a dummy UI and this login as admin. And when I click on this, I'll be redirected to login. So when I click dashboard and when I click close, now I should go to unauthorized, right? But now I'm just going to login, right? So we need to modify our code for that. So let's go back to our role-based protected route. It's role-based protected route. And let's first of all provide a dependency to this use effect that in each render, this use effect will not run. So it's access token, allowed role, user role, and on open. And here, what we'll do is we'll make a condition. If there's no access token, in that case, we'll redirect user to login. And if they are authenticated but not allowed, in that case, what we'll do is we'll redirect them to unauthorized page like this. So let's check it out now. So when I close, then should go to unauthorized route. So yeah, it's fully functional now. Let's now test for admin. So let's register as admin, password, and use a role as admin, and then register. And now let's log in as admin, right, with the credential that he provided while registering. So it was 300 password, and let's log in. And let's now try to go to dashboard. And as you can see, there's a problem. We're still getting access denied. It should be because we're not logged in properly, maybe. Let's do that again. It's 300. Log in, and then if you see the response, then if you see the role, let's see the role of the user. And you see here, we are actually admin, right? And so let's go to local stores to find out the user role, and we are admin. So let's go to, maybe refresh the page, and let's go to dashboard. And yeah, so this was actually a caching issue, right? So yeah, we finally completed it. So let's now add that to our Git. So git add all and git commit m with message project wrap up and role-based access control implementation and project wrap up and git push. And that's it. And that is the end of our chapter. In our previous chapter, we looked at how to implement role-based access control. And in this chapter, we're looking at how to implement OAuth 2 authentication using these social logins. And we'll start by implementing this Google login. And if everything is successful, Google will send me an access and reference token like that. So let's look at API for Google login. So the API is this redirect to Google login, right? So what we will do is we'll simply use anchor tag, and then we'll use this URL as a reference of that anchor tag or button, right? Anything. And after that, when a user clicks on that, then the backend or that URL will render the Google consent screen from where a user can actually select the Google account. The only thing frontend need to do is use this URL in the reference of the anchor tag or button. And after that, backend will redirect the user in some routes of the client side, like this one, this users Google callback, right? So we'll have to make this kind of route, like users Google callback, in our client side. And in that route, what we have to do is we'll have to fetch the data, from a URL, something like this, set up by the backend. And in that request, in response to that request, we'll get access and refresh token. And since this free API is not working as of now, we'll have to rely upon another backend service. And for that, we'll be using a Firebase. All right. The flow is kind of same, but Firebase offers more, services in the backend, right? So that it'll be more easy in the front end side. So the steps are very simple. First of all, we'll have to log in, and after that, let's go to console. And after that, let's create a Firebase project with any name you want. And let's continue. And after that, let's continue again. Let's continue and select an account. I will choose default and create a project. And let's continue. And now let's go to this wave. And because we are creating a wave application, right? That's why we are going to this wave. And after that, let's register app with any name. And let's register. So now what we have to do is we have to install Firebase in our terminal. So let's go to our terminal and install Firebase. And let's now go to Firebase, and let's copy this script. All right. And after that, let's go over here and let's create a new file in this services auth. Let's give it a name Firebase config.js. And after that, let's paste it over here. And now let's remove this one first of all, and let's import get auth. All right, so it's get auth from Firebase auth. And let's go to the end, and let's remove this one, and let's export const auth equals get auth. And let's add app over here. And let's also remove this storage bucket, messaging sender ID, and measurement ID. We only need this 4, all right? So our 50% work has been done. Let's now integrate Google sign in our login page. So let's go over here and copy this button, and let's now change text to sign in with Google. Now let's remove all the styles. and let's add on click, and let's give function sign in with Google. All right, now we have to make this function. So let's go to top, and over here, let's const sign in with Google, and this is going to be a function like that. And let's now create a provider like that, and new Google Auth provider. And we'll have to import this from Firebase Auth. So let's go to top, and here let's import Google Auth provider from Firebase Auth, and also let's import sign in with pop-up. So sign in with pop-up like that. And I think this one is not imported properly, so let's import it correctly from Firebase Auth. And after that, let's make a try catch block for getting tokens, right? So let's make catch, and let's now catch the error, and we'll simply log the error. All right. So now let's const result equals await and sign in with pop-up, and then we'll have to use auth and our provider. So auth, so I think there's an issue over here. So we need auth from Firebase config, and we need Google Auth provider and sign in pop-up from Firebase Auth. So I think we, yeah. So let's make it async. And after that, let's give provider over here. And now this result will contain all the details from the Google account. So let's log it, Google logged in user, and a result.user. And finally, we need to continue. And after that, we need to go to build, and let's go to authentication. And after that, let's go to signing method, and let's use Google over here, right? And now let's enable this one. And now let's provide email, and then let's save. So it's enabled, so we can check it out. So click on it, and there we go. Let's choose one account, and let's continue. And that's it. We got the credentials of the Google account. So everything is correct. So what we need now is the tokens, access and refresh token, right? So we're getting it from STS token manager. So let's store that in our client side. So here, const access token and refresh token is gonna be result.user was STS token manager, right? And let's now store it in our client side. And for that, we have set tokens. If you remember in our previous chapter, right? So let's give access token, refresh token, and user role as user, like that. And after we are logged in, we will go to our product page. So let's navigate to product. So let's test it out. Let's refresh first and then sign in with Google, and let's choose one account, and there we go. We have finally navigated to the product page, and in the stores, if we see the local stores, we have got the tokens as well. And this logout will simply work like in our previous chapter. Let's now check if the logged in user is stored in the Firebase or not. So let's go to authentication, and there we go. So we are finally stored. Let's now give more style and add icon, Google icon, right? So for that, let's go back to our code, and here in the signing with Google button, let's first of all give it a full width, and after that, let's wrap text to this signing with Google text. And after that, let's go to React icons, and let's now install React icons. So let's go to terminal and paste it out. And after that, let's go to React icons and search for Google, and we'll choose this colorful Google icon. So let's import this one. Let's go to top, and let's import FC Google and copy it. And off this text, let's add a component FC Google like that. And let's also add margin end to be 5. Error in the text. So let's import it from Chopper UI like that. And finally, we got it. And let's give size as 24. And that's it. And in our next chapter, we'll be implementing GitHub logging. And that is going to be way more easier than this Google logging, because we have already completed the setup part. In this chapter, we'll be looking at how to implement GitHub logging. And this is going to be pretty much similar with Google logging, like in previous chapter, right? We're going to get tokens, and then we are logged in. And logout is going to be kind of same as well. So let's get back to our code, and let's now copy this sign in with Google button, and let's change this to sign in with GitHub. And also let's change this function name to sign in with GitHub. And after that, we'll have to make a function like sign in with Google, right? This one. So let's copy this function because I think it's going to be kind of same. And let's paste it over here. And let's now change the name as sign in with GitHub. And after that here, we have to use GitHub provider. So it should be GitHub Auth provider, and we'll have to import it from Firebase Auth. And after that, let's change this one to GitHub. And that's it, right? Now let's change the style, right? So we'll have to remove the icon, Google icon from GitHub button. So let's go to the button and let's remove this. And now let's go to Firebase, and let's first of all go to our github.com, right? And after that, let's go to settings. And after that, let's go to developer settings. And there you'll find OAuth apps. Let's click this new OAuth app and let's give it a name, any name. Let's say social login, and let's paste HTTP localhost 5173 because we are actually running our app in 5173 port. That's what. And after that, let's provide a callback URL. And for that, let's go to Firebase, and in signing method, let's add provider, and let's go to GitHub. And after that, let's copy this callback URL and let's paste it over here and register application. Our IDs has been generated, so let's copy this client ID, and let's first of all paste it over here in the client ID. So let's first enable this one and let's paste it over here. And after that, let's generate the secret, and it's been generated. Let's copy it and let's paste it over here in the client secret, and let's save our configuration. And our GitHub has been enabled. Now let's check it out. So click on sign in with GitHub, and let's go to local storage, and let's do it again. So let's sign in with GitHub, and there we go. Let's authorize, and there we go. So we have got the token in the stores, and also navigate it to the blog page, and logout should work fine as well. And let's quickly style this button. So let's get back to our code, and let's first of all let's go to React icons, and from there let's search for GitHub, and after that we'll just import this one for GitHub, and let's import it, import for GitHub, and after that let's copy this for GitHub, and here after the text let's add it as a component like that, and let's also add the size as 24, and that should be it. And in our next chapter we'll be implementing Facebook login. In our previous chapter we implemented GitHub login. Now in this chapter we'll be implementing this Facebook login, and the process is going to be same. All right, and we'll be receiving tokens like access and refresh token after we are logged in, like this one, right? And we'll be navigated to product catalog, and logout will be same like in previous videos. So let's implement our Facebook login, right? So let's go back to our code, and after that let's go to the button, and let's copy this, and let's make a new copy, and let's change this one to Facebook. And after that, let's also change the function to sign in with Facebook. And then let's now make this function. All right. So for that, everything is going to be kind of same with signing with GitHub in our previous video, right? So let's change this to Facebook. And after that, here we should use Facebook Auth provider that comes from, again, Firebase Auth. And after that, let's change this one to Facebook as well. And now everything else will be same, all right, like the GitHub and Google. Now let's go back and let's now change the icon as well. So let's go back to our button and let's now change this one to Facebook. And let's now change the color to blue. And that should be it. Now let's go to this handler, and we need to now set up our Firebase authentication with Facebook. So for that, let's go to Firebase and go to console, and after that, let's go to the project. And in the authentication, from here in build, you'll find authentication in sign in method. Just click add new provider, and after that, let's choose Facebook over here, and let's enable now. And after that, let's go to Meta for developers. All right, so we'll just set up for our Facebook. So choose my apps, and after that, let's create app. And after that, let's give email, and after that, let's choose the app name. All right, you can give any name, and just click next. And after that, let's choose other at the bottom, and after that, again, choose next. And let's choose consumer, and after that, let's just create app. And after that, finally, we need to submit our password and hit submit, and then it'll just create. And after that, we just need to go here and set up the Facebook login and choose this with. And let's now give the site URL, and should be localhost is to 5173 because we are running in 5173, right? And after that, let's just save it and hit continue and choose next, and next again, and that should be it. We have already added Facebook login now. After that, let's go to settings, and here in this redirect URL, I will need to provide the redirect URL from Firebase. Sorry, it should not be here, I guess. It should be actually here, right? It's a OAuth redirect URL. And after that, let's save, and it's saved. Now what we have to do is we have to go in app setting, basic, and let's now copy this app ID and app secret. First of all, let's copy this app secret and let's put it over here. And now let's copy this one and put it in this app ID, and let's now save it. And our Facebook has been enabled. Now we can actually test it. All right. So let's go to our Wave and let's open up the developer tool, and let's go to this stores and local stores, and let's now click. And there we go. So continue. And there we go. We have got the tokens, and we also navigated through the block page, and this logout will work the same way it worked in our previous chapter. Now let's go back to the dashboard of Meta for developers, and let's see all the features what we can do. All right. So if you go to the roles here in the roles section, you can actually provide roles to different other Facebook users. Like you can assign administrators, or you can also assign testers, right? So that they can actually test the Facebook login. And in this Facebook login, here in the settings, we can actually see all the features for going live, right? So right now we are actually in the development mode, and to actually go in the live mode, you'll have to get this advanced access. And for this, verification is required, right? But in development mode, only the users that we have defined in our app role, like I showed before, can access that Facebook login, and not all the end users. So this is the case with Facebook, but not with GitHub or Google. All right, GitHub and Google will allow access to all the users without configuring anything or without going live, but Facebook requires this, right? So I'm gonna make the video on that, because it requires a lot of verification and all those things to go live. So if I get 15 to 20 comments on making that video, then I'll definitely make video on going live, so that Facebook login will be accessible for all the users and not just user we define in our app role. And in our next chapter, we'll start deploying our application. Welcome back. And in this chapter, we'll be deploying our application. So let's go to this package documentation file. And this file, we have to put command serve, and the command will be npx and serve, and then dist. And this dist folder will create it after we build our application. And to build our application, we have this command. So let's go to terminal, and let's hit npm run build. And this might take a little bit of time, so I'm fast forwarding this. So our build has been created, and as you can see, our dist folder is created as well. Now let's serve that dist folder. So let's run npm run serve. So our build has been live in localhost 3000. So let's go to the browser, and let's hit localhost 3000. And there we go. But there's a problem. We are not getting the navbar icon over here. So there's a problem over here. So in navbar, what we have done for this image is basically, let's check it out. So we have given this, raw URL path, right? But, we cannot do that when we are building the application. We have to, create an object here, right? So we have to use import, right? So let's create an object with logo like that. And let's now import logo from that path. So import logo from the path, right? And it is actually e-commerce logo.svg. So let's change it. And that should be it. Now let's go to the terminal, and let's exit this by hitting Ctrl+C. And let's now remove our dist first of all, and rmrf dist. And now let's again build our application, npm run build. And now let's serve the build, npm run serve. Let's now go to localhost, refresh this, and as you can see, our logo is working fine. Now is the time to deploy our build. All right. So for that, we are choosing Firebase. You can choose other platforms like Render or Railway as well. But in our case, because we have done social logins like GitHub login, Facebook login in Firebase, so we are choosing Firebase for deployment. All right. So for that, let's go back to our terminal. And let's first of all, we don't need this. So let's hit Ctrl+C and clear. And then also from here, Ctrl+C. And then we can just clear it out because we don't need that. And let's now install Firebase tool. All right. So the command is npm install and -g for globally installing it, and then Firebase -tools. And let's now log into the Firebase. So command is Firebase login, and hit enter. And after that, this will ask some prompts like enable Gemini in Firebase features. So we don't want that. So let's enter N for no. And after that, let's hit no, right? So we don't want to report any errors, etc. So yeah. And after that, let's choose your Google account. And let's continue. And let's continue again. So allow basically. And that's it. So our Firebase login has been successful. We can go to the command back, right? And after that, let's initialize our Firebase, and the command is Firebase init hosting. All right, so Firebase init hosting, like that. And it will ask some prompts like, are you ready to proceed? Yes. So hit Y, use an existing project, and our project is OAuth. So you want public directory, so this one will be dist, right? And this one will be yes, because we are rewriting all the URLs to index.html. So hit Y. And this one will be no. And this one should be overriding yes. And yeah, our Firebase has been initialized successfully. Now, if you go to firebase.json, now you'll see all the configuration for Firebase initialization. So basically, we are rewriting all the URLs to this index.html, right? So in a single case, and now this one will be deployed in the Firebase. All right. So before that, we'll have to build. So let's hit npm run build. Now I'm fast forwarding this. So yeah, now is the time to finally deploy our application. So let's hit the command Firebase and deploy, and -- only hosting, like that. So now it takes some time. But there's no need to fast forward it. So it's actually deploying our hosting. So yeah, so the deploy has been completed. We can find the URL here. So let's open that, and there we go. Right. So our application has been deployed successfully in this URL. You can actually share this URL with your friends as well, or put this in your portfolio, etc. So everything is working. Google is working fine. Let's also check this logout. So it's working as well. So I think it's basically working. So we have completed our deployment successfully in the Firebase. So let's go to Firebase to actually see if we have been logged in or not. So let's refresh. And then, yeah, so we have been logged in as Google user. Now let's check it out with GitHub. And this time it is not working. Let's open up console. And as you can see, there's an error. So account exists with different credential. This is because, our Google account and GitHub account are with the same email, same Gmail. That's why I will need to remove this one first of all. And then let's check it out with GitHub now. And this time it should work. So yeah, it's working. And finally, congratulations on making it all the way to the end of this playlist. And if you have started this journey as a junior React developer, trust me, you're no longer a beginner. All right. So if you leveled up to an intermediate or maybe even an expert, because authentication and authorization are some of the most advanced and real world features you'll work with. And the best part, you now have a production label project that you can proudly showcase in your portfolio, proving your skills to employers or clients. All right. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with your suggestions or feedback, and let me know what you'd like me to cover next. And of course, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.